Karen,
Yes.
you ever get that feeling in your gut like something's off?
Yes.
Or maybe that something's really, really right? Yes.
Yes.
But you just can't put your finger on it?
Yes.
All right. Well, people will usually just kind of brush it off. Like they're overthinking or they get so caught up worrying about the future that sometimes we miss these clues entirely.
Right.
Well, that is where our guest today comes in. She's an evidential-based psychic medium, Reiki master, and best-selling author. But what she's really passionate about is helping people like us connect with something we all have, our intuition.
Oh.
Yeah. And if there's one thing I know about you, my love, is that you are all about learning how to trust that inner voice.
Well, that's true.
Especially when life throws us curveballs.
We're juggling all the time, man.
Yep. Well, then get ready because our guest today is going to show us how to stop stressing about the future, whether it's about a dream job or a dream relationship, and start listening to the guidance that we've already got inside of us. It's all about tuning into the present moment, feeling those intuitive hits in our bodies and trusting our truth in a way that's practical and real. No more projecting into the future, just realigning with where we are right now. You know what the best part is?
What?
She's got some seriously cool techniques to help us feel those intuitive messages in real time, chakra by chakra.
Nice.
So you're going to want to stick around for this one. It may just change how you connect to your inner guidance. This is the Skeptic Metaphysicians. My name is Will.
And I'm Karen.
And unlike Mulder and Scully,
we both want to believe.
So we've embarked on a journey of discovery.
We've talked to people deeply entrenched in the spiritual and metaphysical world.
We've thrown ourselves into weird and wonderful experiences. I even joined a coven of witches.
And wait, you joined a coven?
Yep, all in the interest of finding something.
Anything.
That will prove that there's something beyond this physical,
three-dimensional world we all live in.
This is the Skeptic Metaphysicians. Hey there, I'm Will.
And I'm Karen.
And today we're diving into the world of intuition, healing, and connecting with the unseen. Our guest, Krystal Parry, is an evidential-based psychic medium, a best-selling author, and a Reiki master who's worked with thousands of clients around the world. Whether it's delivering heartfelt messages from loved ones across the veil or helping people like us tune into their own inner guidance, Krystal's passion is all about empowering others to trust their intuition. Well, today, she's here to help us understand how we can get out of our heads, stop worrying about the future.
Has she got a job for her?
And tap into the wisdom of the present moment using our own bodies as a guide. So get ready to learn how to realign with your intuition and find the answers you've been searching for. Krystal, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Will. Thank you, Karen. Pleasure to be here.
Well, we're thrilled that you're here with us today.
Yes. The pleasure is absolutely all ours. There's a lot of areas we need to go into, we need to touch on, but let's just set the table first and foremost. Intuition. Can you define that for someone?
The dictionary says it's a gift of knowing without reason. So you just know things without any reason. I think from birth, we're blessed with this wisdom in our soul that we either tune out or tune into. It just comes on board once we take our first breath.
Some of us more than others, I think.
I just trust my intuition more than you do.
Well,
you ignore it completely.
Well,
I ignored it only a little bit.
It's not that I ignored it. It's like I'm just completely oblivious to it.
Well, I think he wants someone to tell him what to do.
Well,
right?
don't you?
Most people do.
Right.
But then you're like, I don't want you to tell me what to do.
Well, I don't, but I do, but I don't, but I do.
Exactly. So there's the rub.
I don't, but I do.
Because they might tell you the wrong thing.
Or what you don't want to hear.
Right. So the obvious question then, the follow-up is, how can you, A, feel the intuition? How can you how can you know that your intuition talking? And B, how do you know it's not you just making stuff up in your head?
Well, I like to give people tips on so they can physically feel it, and then they'll have the answer to know what is truth for them. I like to say that intuition is your superpower. Your ego is your kryptonite. So if you're thinking of superheroes, your ego that gets in there and tells you what's right and what's wrong, that's going to be your kryptonite that tears away your power.
So I just pictured my ego with that twirling mustache and a big top hat. Right?
You got a pocket full of kryptonite.
Oh,
see what
God.
I did there?
Yeah, you're way better at this than I am.
I just like that song.
And he's talking himself out of it.
Exactly.
I know. Okay, so how could I go around? Okay, let's take a real world practical thing that happened just a couple of days ago. We had to make a massive decision, like massive decision.
Life altering.
Yeah, and we tried so hard. We sat, we meditated, and we felt. How do you feel if you do this? Like I was just like, no, I don't know.
No, but you weren't. At first, we came to this decision, and we're like, okay, this is what we're doing. And then the next day, all the factors changed, like literally.
Yeah.
And so we're like, well, this still is a good decision, but now this is a good decision too. So that's where you were just like, I don't know.
Right. So in a case like that, how could I have tapped into my intuition and learned which direction I really was supposed to go in?
So I'll start right out the gate on one of the techniques that I teach people is really, if you've heard of muscle testing, it's an internal muscle testing that I teach people to find out your truth for you. So once you know what your truth is, then you can ask the bigger questions like, should I marry this person, or should I move to Europe, or whatever? And it's really simple in a matter of minutes. And we can do it here now with your guests. If everyone wants to just take a breath, close your eyes, and what you're going to do to yourself is state a truth to yourself. So you can say something like your name. My name is Will. In that silence, in that quiet, in that stillness, how does your body feel? Okay. State your name. How does it feel?
Out loud?
To yourself.
Oh, okay.
It shouldn't take more than 10 seconds just to get that feeling. Now, the next thing is you're going to state a false to yourself. My name is George Washington. And you're going to feel in your body where you feel the faults.
Okay. I'm not the most sensitive of guys out there. So I'm not sure if I'm just making this stuff up, right? But what I'm feeling is like a tightness around the solar plexus. Is that
absolutely
right?
It's either heart or solar that most people feel it. There's a tightness or a clenching when it's not.
Maybe
so now
right.
You are doing it right. So now you ask the bigger question when you're still, okay, now I know my truth barometer, I call it. Should I take this new job or this endeavor? How does that feel? Do I get that tightness and that clench? That would be your truth.
I don't want to ask it now because it's too late. I don't want to learn to make the wrong decision. But did you feel it, Karen?
I mean, I felt something in my hands and feet, but I don't think that's the right spot.
Usually it's from the chest to the belly, as most people will feel it.
Like when I said my name, I didn't feel anything, like nothing.
Right.
And then when I said a different name, like my hands and feet were tingling a little
That's
bit.
just your fight or flight symptoms.
Maybe your barometer is really strong.
Well, you know what? I wouldn't doubt that. She's actually very strong.
Yeah.
But
and it could be. And if she's an energy healer of any way, most people can feel it in their hands. So.
Oh, I'm a Reiki practitioner, and I don't think I didn't really notice it.
Your fingers didn't tingle.
I wasn't paying attention to that. Do it again now and see if knowing now we're.
Well, now I'm on the spot.
Well, now what you're supposed to feel.
And I think I might like make up something like, oh, I'm feeling.
But that's why I said I might be making it up, but.
Just be still, and you can do it tonight. So my name is, and then feel where you feel. And if you go over 10 seconds, you're doing it too much. It's too hard for your body. And the second one is state of faults. And it doesn't have to be your name. You can say I have 10 kids, or if you don't have 10 kids, whatever your truth is. I live in Manhattan. Whatever isn't your truth, your body will tell you. It should be really slight and really subtle, and that's how intuition works. Most people overlook it because they expect lightning from God to say, this is what you're supposed to do.
Well, so here comes Will, right? So bear with the question, because I'm sure a lot of people out there probably are asking the same thing to themselves, and I would be remiss if I didn't voice it out loud. Could this be my own biases rather than my intuition? Like, for example, this example that we were talking about had something to do with staying at my current job or going elsewhere. And there's a fear with taking that leap with going elsewhere that comes into play. So could that not be what I'm feeling? Is that fear, that bias?
I think what you're feeling is anxiety because that's mixed in
Yes.
with fear of that's going to change my future, right?
Yes.
When we feel intuition, it is very still and it is very calm. So we get the answers that will always be calm, even if it's right for you, but you have fear. Your body will be still. So as we go through this today and we go through the steps of your chakras where you're going to feel it, it should always be still and calm, even in chaos. If this is right for me, it's going to be still.
So the right decision will be still. The wrong decision won't be. Is basically the
Yes,
reason.
it'll be fear-based. You'll have anxiety. You're staying up
Huh.
at night. You're stressing out about it. And you can't get it out of your mind. That's your ego. It's your brain. I tell people your intuition is from your neck down. You're going to feel it in your body, not your neck up.
Okay. Well, what if you get that weird feeling for both options? Then what? You're kind of out of luck.
Yeah, because they both have pros and cons.
Yeah.
Really good pros and cons.
Yeah.
But
There should be one that's a little stronger, that's a little more, I feel more comfortable with this. When I think about this, I'm more still. I can sleep through the night. I think this is okay. And you're not getting in your head. You have to ask your body, how does my body feel with this?
Okay. Do you have to be relaxed? Like we are agitated, right? It's been weeks and weeks of this kind of thing.
Yeah.
To the point where even meditations that we do, it's difficult to drop in because we're so on edge about everything.
Yeah.
So could that affect our feeling?
It could, but you're still going to get your answer. Go to a
Mm.
different place than you normally would. Go sit in your car, in the garage. Go to a park and sit under a tree and then try it, just because it's a different environment. And your
Okay.
brain's like, what is going on here? I don't know. This isn't familiar. And then you can tap in and you should feel something different.
All right.
so
Okay.
when I was asking you the other day, just to close your eyes and kind of go through the thing, I didn't know that, it sounds like I was doing what she was doing.
Right.
Unknowing.
You are witchy
And I
woman.
said, well, how did you feel with this? And how did you feel with that? Like, did you feel a difference?
I mean, I don't know. What I was picturing myself in that moment is how it felt going out into the world versus how I felt staying where I was. That's what I was going through. And what felt to me is like I guess it was
And I
actually
asked you
that, right?
which made you feel calmer.
Yeah. Which one made me freak out more, right?
Mhm.
And it was to your point, it was a little bit of both. So, because there were pros and cons to both. So,
Yeah.
well, this is interesting. Okay.
How do you trust it? That's my problem.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like when you have the 3 cups with the little, whatever underneath and you're picking, and I'll be like, oh, it's that one. But since I think it's that one, it means it's probably this one. So then should I go for this one? Or maybe it's that one instead? Like second, third, fourth, fifth guess might solve.
Didn't the teacher say like your first guess is always the right one?
Yeah.
Yes. In a split second.
Ah.
And that's why I said that the longer you're doing this, the more you're getting in your head. It should just take a minute to feel that feeling. I also teach people, when you're tapping into your intuition, stop pushing the elevator button. You know how you're pushing and when's it coming? And someone else walks up to the elevator and they're pushing, waiting, and someone's crossed their arms and they're waiting and pushing. That is not how you get your intuition. That's adding more fear, more anxiety to the mix. That's just pushing it into the future. Our body sits in present time. We truly are here in this moment, in this breath, and our bodies will give us the answer in this moment. So it is still moment to moment. Like, here's an example of intuition that I love to share. You're driving down the freeway and suddenly you say, I should slow down. There's a cop. You see the cop, you pass, you're good, but you didn't get that intuitive hit till 2 seconds before, right? Intuition works moment by moment, and maybe the answer you seek isn't even here yet. Well, there could be another possibility that pops up and you're just like, why isn't it working? Why isn't it working? Because the answer's not here yet.
Oh.
What kind of one did?
You're right. You're right.
And then we're anxious about that too.
We're just anxious.
We are a hot mess
altogether,
over here.
yeah.
There has been so much.
Yeah.
It just
going
feels
on.
like it's going to cause chaos to your life, but the ripple effect feels beautiful. Whatever you choose, it does feel beautiful. It feels like you're making the right choice anyway, and you're kind of leaving the past behind. Just unsolicited advice.
Okay. No, appreciate that. So you mentioned that there are different chakras, like you activate these chakra by chakra. So
Yeah.
what's the next step?
Or how you will feel it in your body.
Okay.
The other thing I like to tell people about intuition is think of a garden hose. When you turn it on, it's literally coming from source. You were born with it, right? The divine, God, whatever you believe, is coming one way down the garden hose to you. Even when you shut it off, it's still in the hose or in the, it's still flowing. It doesn't go reverse. It doesn't go backwards. So whatever's coming for you is coming down the pipe for only you. So it's just a little visual. Some people love visuals.
All right. Sometimes I feel like I'm drinking from 10 of those garden hoses at one time.
And they're full blast. At the fire station.
Yeah, exactly. Here,
Yeah.
have a sip.
That's the one that sits you on your ass.
Well, I like to work from the bottom up. So the bottom root chakra is right, kind of where your legs meet, right? It's your, the top of your hips. And this is called your root chakra. Where you're going to feel intuitive hits here in this chakra is something that's going to make you want to move. I want to get up. I want to go towards it. Or I'm going to be really still and go, it just doesn't feel right. Every time I think about it, I don't want to go there. It doesn't feel like I want to move.
Huh.
Now, again, most people always say it's in your gut. That's where I feel intuitive hits in your gut. And we'll talk about that one, but it actually runs through your whole body. So again, think of your head, your body from your neck down. This is where you're going to receive your intuitive hits. Okay. So with your root chakra, it's your foundation. It's the moving along in life. It's going towards. So if you're going to marry someone or take a job, you're like really eager. I can't wait to get this job. You're feeling really good. Your body wants to go towards it. If it's something that you're pulling away from, I don't know, that wasn't good, that don't feel good, start to pay attention what your body does. Sometimes we'll even turn away. We're talking to someone and that interview didn't go well and I want to turn my body away to kind of move away. You'll know action needs to be taken now in this chakra. It's a movement of some sort in this area.
Okay.
So how's your root chakra been feeling with these choices?
Like it's getting something shoved up there somewhere.
Or like it needs
I
to be
gotta
cleaned
move
out.
off this thing because
I
it's
love a coal. Now there's a diamond in there.
pretty much. Yeah. I don't know. I've not. So this is great because in the future we can use these tips. But I was oblivious. Like I did. Unfortunately, I'm one of those guys that doesn't pay attention, and I need to pay. I need to be more in the present moment. 100%. I realize that because had I known to look to see where my hips were moving, I would have had an idea. But now you're asking me, and I don't know.
Yeah. And the other thing here in this area, if we don't know the answer, we freeze. It's your fight or flight zone. Most people think it's all through your mind. It's literally, I don't know, I'm frozen. I can't make a decision.
Yeah.
So then we have to come back to what does my body say? Does it feel calm or does it feel anxious thinking about this? That truth barometer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So would you feel it in both places at the same time, or is either
You
or?
you can feel it in all of them at the same time. And this is where
Oh.
people get confused. They only think it's their stomach, right? I just got that gut instinct, or it's a mother's intuition. No, it's throughout your body. You're born with this at birth to have all the senses in your physical form. That's what the universe turned on for us. We never shut it off, really. We tune it out, but we don't really shut it off.
Yeah. Story of my life, tuning out.
So then how do you kind of, I don't know, wade through so like we were saying, we had these two options and both of them had something really good and both of them had something really bad. And it was just so equal. It was like hard to, like, even thinking now, like going back and remembering, it would be hard to kind of even have any sort of peaceful thing while we're thinking about those. Cause just thinking about either one of those, we're like, oh crap, what do we do?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you get beyond that to really be able to focus and listen to your body?
If you were my client, I would sit in front of you and say, put your hand on your heart and tell yourself, I'm looking for the best case scenario. And you're asking your guides and angels to step in and give me something better than I can imagine. And look at one scenario and sit and be still. What's the best thing? And, give me something better than I can imagine. And then let that go. Do a few deep breaths, let it go. Now think of the other case scenario. And one of those, even though you're telling me that the weight on them was both, they were very evenly weighted. You couldn't choose. One would feel different. One would. You would have something that is a trigger for you. But this one offers more. Or when you've given it to the universe and say, give me something better than I can imagine, maybe there's a perk on the other end of one of them. Maybe now you're getting insurance or benefits or, I'm just saying a perk that you might not have had before.
Well, and the ironic thing is like, okay, we're going to make this choice and we're surrendering. Whatever will happen. Because there was, one of the choices was, they choose for, well, it wasn't, basically they're going to choose for you. And so we thought, okay, well then that way we'll know where the universe is leading us. We're going to let this happen. And then that choice, now it's like, well, you can have that choice. You can have the other choice. And it just was, It was
It was a
tough,
lot.
man.
It was a
It was
lot.
a
And
lot.
sometimes the universe puts a path before you that just all the options are right. And you just got to go with it.
Yeah.
The other thing, when I talk to my clients, I say, we're never on the wrong path. There's a river that we flow in. We think we're on the wrong path. And what if I made this choice? And where would I be? It doesn't matter. You're on the wrong path of whatever you choose. Spirit has a way of keeping you there, bringing the right people into your life and doing everything you need.
Right.
And that's something that you said. You
Yeah.
said, because I'm like, well, what if, so we've been saying this is what we want, and all of a sudden here it is. Here's the opportunity. But then there's this too now. But now what do we do? Do we go for the universe is giving us this thing that we've wanted, but this might be a better option for us. So is it like snubbing the universe? And Will's like, no, the universe isn't petty. It's not going to be like, well, screw you. You didn't take it. So
that's it. That was your one chance.
Yeah, you get door number 3.
And sometimes because you don't make a choice now, you get a better option later, right? Because the universe is like, oh no, we're still going to make that happen for you, but here's something bigger and better than you can't even imagine, right? Here's something great. So.
Yeah, and ultimately, just I know people are on pins and needles, wondering what did we decide? What did we decide? Rest assured, I think we made the right decision.
I think so
after
too.
thinking these things through, because now it's giving us more time. We're staying, by the way. This is what we're deciding.
And you slept through the night.
I did.
So your body kind of responded.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So.
Well, good.
If only we had spoken with her the day before yesterday.
I know, you would have relieved a lot of pressure.
Would have been like, okay.
Right. Well, now we know. Anytime we got a big decision, Krystal,
how does it feel?
Yeah. And don't think we won't do it, because we are those people. We will knock on your door. So
love it.
How did you come to trust in this and really learn to trust your intuition?
Oh my goodness. Trial and error. Don't we all? Don't we all? We have to stumble and fall. And most people, let's say, for example, you're at the altar and this is my person and I don't know, it's just not right. And then a year or two later, you get divorced, or, you take a job and you're like, oh, this is going to be so great. It's harder than you anticipate. The hours suck and boss is horrible. We don't go into these things blindly. There's a part of us that knows that this might not work out. That little sliver that we're overlooking that Will says, I don't know, that he's overlooking, because it's so subtle. It is so quiet. It's like a feather touched you, but there's this chaos and noise in the background. So you can't tell that the feather touched you. Right? Spirit is so quiet, so calm and reassuring. Even in a car accident, Spirit's saying, get out of the way, get out of the way, get out of the way. It's nudging you. It's never going to yell. This intuitive knowledge that we have at birth is here on purpose for us. We have to tune in.
Does it have to be that way? What if we really want them to yell?
Well, I think you're going to have to do a bunch of talking, because I haven't met one person that it yells to them with a megaphone.
Yeah, actually, I would say probably there have been times when it's yelled at me.
Yeah.
It's like 2x4 to the head, kind of like, okay, I got you, like breaking your ankle in Europe kind of thing. Yeah. But anyway.
Is that after you've made the wrong choice?
He will work himself to the bone and just kind of rush from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. And he's been needing to slow down. And so he's been getting these very strong signals to slow down. And it took a broken leg the first day of our 3-week vacation in Europe to finally hit him go, oh, yeah, maybe I need to slow down. Maybe the universe is telling me something. Like,
yeah, and enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah. I just wish I wasn't so stubborn.
I do too. For lots of reasons, but that's a different interview.
Time will help that.
All right.
Yeah. So let's move up to the sacral chakra as we're doing chakras. So your sacral chakra is your creativity center. If you think about this area, it's your pelvic region where you want to give birth to something. This is your creativity center. What do I want to create in the world, right? I mean, this is literally where we have babies, this center. So you're going to have an idea that just comes to you, just pops in your mind where you're not really thinking of something. That's when you know it's intuition, instead of forcing it and cramming it. And what's my anxiety telling me, and what's going on here, and pushing and pushing. Your intuition is never something that you have to push against. It just pops in. The ideas just come, or you'll get an inspiration out of nowhere. And this is your creativity center. Now, if you're not listening to it and you're repressing and holding, you're not going to get the answers there in your body, right? You're not going to pay attention to that. But it is something that will just come out of the blue. Something you just create. Some people want to be an artist suddenly. They hit a certain age and go buy a red Corvette or whatever. There's my inspiration, and that's what's right for me.
Oh.
Maybe not
No.
right for Will right now.
No.
Oh, come on. The two of ya. The two of ya. Maybe it's time for the red Corvette. I'm just saying now.
Okay, Prince.
Okay, so that sounds great, and I guess it could maybe explain the midlife crisis things that people do.
Some of them, or they're not listening to their intuition and they're doing it anyway. Now, there's, I won't say a dark side to your intuition, but if this is the area in your body, because we're talking about our body, if you're not listening and things get stuck and repressed, you could have some, UTIs, some bladder issues, some low libido, whatever it is in this center, or as we go through the centers, other blocks, because you're just not listening to what the world wants you to create. This is where you're supposed to be doing things, instead of having someone say, oh, you can't do that. That's not good enough. You're never going to make it. And they start to chip away at your intuitive feelings of creating. And we suck that in, and we take that in, and then we have health problems along the way. But there's always a shadow side to it.
Yeah, you've met my dad. Oh.
Or you.
What? Dang.
Yeah. So would this also be responsible for those aha moments?
Absolutely. Some people wake up in the morning and have that idea. Some people get them in the shower. This is just usually intuitive hits happen when you're not thinking about the deal. I tell people, get your body busy. Ask the bigger question. Here it is. I'm going to use an example. Should I marry this person or take this job, right? Here's the bigger question. Your body knows the question. We don't have to keep pushing that elevator button. Well, what about this? What about that? We leave the question out there. Now go take the dog for a walk. Go do a load of laundry. Go cook a pot of soup. And in the meantime, if you're really paying attention to what I'm doing in the body, I'm taking this walk in the woods, I'm cooking and cutting the carrots, and I'm here in this moment, and you'll get a download of, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do. You have to check out of the question and the problem and the issue. You have to completely check out and let your body physically be doing something so you can get the downloads and the ideas.
Wow. Maybe that's why I like cooking so much. Remember I told you it's like Zen for me. I'll just sit there and just chop, and it just kind of zone out.
And I've been meaning to get some of those adult coloring books.
Yeah.
Because those do really well for me.
Yeah. You needed that 2 days ago before you made your decision.
I know, Krystal. Come on. Well, I blame our own scheduling system.
Yeah.
Had I known, though.
Damn you, Calendly.
Well, you can just create your own coloring books now out of this creative center and say, when you're really stressed out for a big decision, color in these books designed by Will and Karen.
Skeptic Metaphysician coloring books.
Ooh.
That's amazing.
And it'll be like Pinocchio and Dumbo. And I guess that's kind of a copyright thing. I can't really do that. But thank you for the business idea. That's
I know, right?
Ding ding. See, you always get something better than you can imagine.
You're right.
Little side hustle on the side for you.
Yeah.
Well, the third thing that came to mind actually has something to do, not with coloring books, but something along those lines of expanding what we're doing already, which is it's all of a sudden crazy exciting to me, but one step at a time.
Good for you. And Spirit will push you on the places that you are excited for, whether they bring you money or not. We're here for the joy. What brings you joy, and follow that, and then money follows. Right. So,
and that's the thing, right? It doesn't have to go in that order, the money, and then it'll bring you joy, right? If you're doing it for the right reasons, like you said, your joy, the universe will give you what you need. So if we do go follow our path, if something has happened and we had to go, as long as we're enjoying what we're doing and not worried about it, not adding stress and causing blockages, we will have everything that we need. And that's hard to internalize.
Most of the times, it's because of generational patterning. What your parents do, and they say you should have this, for example, like a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Once you quit and you get out of the corporate world, the whole world's going to end, because they were programmed. And that was their safety zone. And it's kind of impressed upon you to do it a certain way. And if you're not, and you're going outside the box, fear is not just yours. It's generational. That's laying on your shoulders.
You do know my dad.
Pretty much everybody's dad's the same.
No, that's so right. Yes, it's so right, because that was the big fear and I said to Karen, it's a way to, I need to provide. And the way that I know I've got the security of a paycheck every 2 weeks, I've got the benefits I can provide. But the other side, where it's not a steady anything.
Unknown.
Yeah, that is crazy scary. So
Take the leap.
is
That's
that what
where
you're
our
saying?
biggest growth is truly is taking leaps.
I know that too. And okay, we're taking the leap conservatively,
Good.
Okay.
right? We're taking the leap conservatively. We're not resting on our laurels. We have decided to move in one direction, but we know we're going to use this direction in order to launch pad into the other direction. It'll take a little bit more effort on our part, but it will be worth it at the end, because then it won't matter what happens here. We'll have here this already laid out in front of us. Wow, look at us. We are working out our problems right on the air, right here with Krystal.
Oh
You
my
don't need me.
gosh.
You got this.
No, you are the catalyst for this. We'd really appreciate that. This has really started the conversation going into hyperdrive, which is great. But okay, so we talked about several different chakras. Are there more?
Okay, yeah, let's go to the gut instinct, the solar plexus. Everybody talks about this is where I feel it in my gut, because it's almost the chakra that's biggest and open most all the time. You walk into a room and you're like, ooh, something's off here. Your chakras look like funnels. They're big on the outside and they're really fine-tuned right next to your body. So when you walk into a room, here you've got like megaphone to walking into the room, or the job or the career or the choices, right? It's huge and it's amplified and you're picking things up. So your solar plexus is your control center, your empowerment center. Where do I feel? Do I have self-confidence? Do I have, self-esteem in this area? This is where you get the butterflies and your pricklies on your skin. It's just one of the most intense chakras that you're picking up. So on the opposite side, for those that don't listen to their intuition, you're going to get digestive issues or stomach issues or problems related to your digestion, because you're not paying attention to what's the world telling me, or am I not following it?
Okay, that makes a lot of sense for me, because when I do have some stomach issues whenever I get stressed. But you say if you are not tuning into it, you're going to have these issues. So how do you prevent that from happening? Whether it's your stomach issues or your solar plexus or your root chakra, how does Will get beyond and finally get out of all the medical bills?
Okay. Well, again, you're going to have to sit with yourself, Will, and think neck down. How does my body feel right now? I always have people check in with your body first and then ask, I want to get rid of my stomach issues. How does my body feel? My body feels like I need to stop drinking black coffee or black tea. Okay, that's what my body's telling me. Random thoughts, and it will come out of the moment, out of the blue. Maybe I need to not take this supplement anymore. That's just what it's telling me. I'm going to take it out for a minute and just start to pay attention to what your body's saying.
Okay, so you are flipping it from the way that I thought. I thought you were saying that your body's constantly giving you messages, and if you don't listen to it, it'll give you the stomach issues.
If you're not, for example, if you're supposed to be creative and be an artist and do all these things, but you're afraid of the family and they're like, that's stupid, you need a 9 to 5, don't do that, right? And you're tuning that out, your intuition keeps talking to you and you're tuning it out, so you're going to continue to have those health problems.
Got it. Okay, so I was right then. Okay. Do people feel one over another, or can you train yourself to feel them all, or is there one in specific we're supposed to be listening to?
It's whatever's coming in for you. Some people get them stronger in the heart or the throat than the rest of them. It's just, I'm just giving you tips of where you might feel it and go, oh, this is my intuition telling me. Right?
Okay.
That's what that means. Most people just think intuition and it's one feeling, and that's fine. Covers it all. But it does sit in your body. You're going to have a reaction viscerally in your body of some sort when you're picking up intuitive hits.
Is this close to, people talk about the claircognizant, right? Where you people who are psychic in that sense, that they just have a knowing. Is that the same thing? Are we talking about the same thing?
A little more clairsentient is what we're talking, because you're feeling it.
Feeling it. Got it.
Because you're feeling it, like you're getting the goosebumps, and why is my heart racing, and why am I getting sweaty? And it's a feeling. It's a physical feeling.
Okay.
But yes.
All right.
Like, let's say you just met someone for the first time and your heart starts beating. You're like, I know this person. We're supposed to be together. This is my soulmate. Like, there's a visceral feeling, that sort of thing.
Yep, that's exactly what happened, Karen. I got to drop one in there in every show, otherwise she beats me up. So, okay, so if we're talking about chakras, like, is there a crown chakra one or third eye chakra one?
No,
or-
it's below the neck, and I
Oh,
stop
okay,
at
that's
the
right.
I stop at the
Mhm.
heart. But
Mm.
when I get to the throat, it's about speaking your truth. So your heart chakra is the one-on-one connections. Let's say you're in a relationship and suddenly you're just like, I don't know, I'm feeling something's off. If nothing's even changed, but you're just feeling that's off. It could
Mhm.
be a friend, it could be a coworker. You could go to work and go, how you doing today, Sally? And she's like, I'm fine, but you know instantly something's not right.
Yeah.
That's the one-on-one connection. Your heart chakra is telling you that. That's your intuition picking that up. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's just an example of the heart chakra. When we get to the throat chakra, it's about speaking your truth. Most people don't. 99% of the people that I work on with Reiki and energy work are closed off on their throat chakra. Again, generational programming of don't speak, that's a bad attitude. Don't say that to your sister.
Mhm.
Whatever. We
Yeah.
just tuned out. So in order to open that up, we have to speak our truth to ourselves. Get in the car and sing, get in the car and yell it out, get in the car and tell your truth, whatever it is, but you have to start talking truth to yourself. Or we get on the opposite of that, thyroid problems, laryngitis, it's throat problems because you're not trusting your own voice to come through.
So I've heard that you're supposed to speak your truth to people. Like, you're not like, what it was, Conversations with God, book 4, I think, is the one that says highly evolved beings don't not speak the truth at all times, right?
Yeah.
Is that better, or is it really just
Well,
about
think
speaking your
about
truth to
someone who
yourself?
hasn't spoke the truth their whole life. And now baby steps. Maybe I just need to start humming because it's breaking up the throat. Maybe I need to start singing. Maybe in the car I'm singing. Maybe in the car I'm just like, I can't believe you did that to me, XYZ. I don't like that. And I want to tell my boss off, right? I'm starting to get it out. And now I'm a little braver. I can hear my own voice. When we're born, the only voices we recognize first are usually our parents and our own. That's why babies will make sounds, goo goo, gaga, little noises, because it's reverberating in their lungs, in their bronchial system, and up through their ears. You recognize your own voice first.
Wow.
So when you hum and it's breaking that up, when you meditate and you chant, it's your own voice. It's calming. It's bringing you to an awareness of,
Wow.
my truth.
Yeah, I think that's kind of why I became a podcast host. I love hearing my own voice.
I mean, that's not a lie.
Not a lie. Not a lie.
You're speaking your truth.
I am speaking my truth. My throat chakra is clear.
There you
Oh,
go. And sometimes it'll crackle when it's not, and you'll go, where did that come from? You know?
No, it's not crackling at all. It's fine. It's the truth.
Yeah, this makes me sad, though, for all the people that have no idea about any of this.
Yeah.
That are dealing with indigestion or, even worse, cancers or whatever, because they've got their body kind of turning against them. We got to just keep getting these words out.
Yeah.
It really comes down to awareness and who are we sharing that with and where is my truth? And even if I can't speak it to my family because they won't understand, maybe I write it down, then it still comes out of my body. There's just, you can work on these things.
Yeah.
I do go up to the eye, the third eye chakra, but it's not because it's a physical thing. Your third eye is seeing other realms or other dreams and other realities and other perceptions. But your physical eyes can also be used for your intuition. Like, you're going to see someone lying to you. They'll have shifty eyes or they'll turn away. You'll just see something's not right. Your physical eyes can pick up your intuition there as well.
Krystal Ixnay on the tip of a thing.
Watching
You are on a
everyone.
roll.
No, it's true. Actually, I think the police, actually, detectives or whatever, they're trained on lie detection. Right? They can tell with body, subtle body cues. There's specific people that can actually call that out.
Yeah, like with the pulse and stuff. They'll hold their hands and talk to them,
But not even that. They're just when they're talking
Yeah.
to them, they'll just know. And maybe that's the tips that she's giving us.
Yeah, I was just thinking. So we interviewed a lie detector, not on this show, but on the show that we work on, and that was what he has, like the thing where he sets them all up, but then he'll hold on to like their hand or their wrist, and like he'll feel subtle changes in pulse, or like a little bit of hand starting to sweat, or
Right.
It's very interesting, really interesting.
Well, I think it's on Netflix, so it could be another show, but it's called Lie to Me, where he just looks at them and they're twitching on the left side or they're rubbing their knee on the right side or something. And it's like, oh, this happened because of that, so
Right.
I love it. I love watching that.
Yeah, I heard somewhere that I think if you look up and to the left, it's you're trying to make up a story, but if you look up to your right, you're trying to remember or something
You're
along those lines.
retrieving information.
Right. So
Yeah.
I keep forgetting which one it is, but every time I talk to someone and they start going this, I'm like, oh, is that the lie or is it the retrieving? I'm trying to second guess it, but I need to do more research on that before I can actually be sure about it. You're a liar. No, I'm honestly
trying to remember something.
It's awesome.
Okay. So from now on, I'm going to start taking a moment and trying to figure out in my body where I'm feeling it. Is there a way to, I'm assuming there is a way by practice, you can enhance that or make it
Yes,
stronger?
by practice. And I tell people make it fun. For example, when you're trying to find a parking spot, okay, I'm going to get that parking spot up front. And maybe you don't get it, but the next day you do. You have to build the muscle. Your intuition is just like anything else. You have to keep practicing and keep building that muscle. Like Karen said earlier, you got the 3 cups with the rock inside or whatever. And you're like, okay, what one is it? Right. And practice. The more fun you make it, use your children, use your friends, the more you're going to retain and remember. Okay. Yeah, I go through a lot of different tips when I teach this for people. The number one thing is stop right then and listen. When you get an intuitive hit, you have to stop right then. For example, like driving down the road. Oh, I should slow down. There's a cop. That happened in a moment. And I need to slow down and listen. Okay. Now you're like, okay, pass the cop, turn up the radio, start singing again. It's over. But in that moment, you must take 2 seconds and pause. What just happened to me? You might not make any sense of it. I don't know why I need to call my aunt in Carolina right now, but that came to me. There's people that regret things because they don't I got to call my mom and this happens at 4:00 and I'm taking my kid to soccer and I'll call her later and Like the next day she calls and says, oh, I fell off the ladder and broke my ankle at about 4:00 yesterday. Do you know what I mean? We know after the fact and we beat ourselves up, but stop in that moment when it's like, that was an intuitive hit. Wow, that's cool. I got it. Make it fun.
And it's interesting because, you hear the term women's intuition a lot. And I think women, I don't know if it's that we tend to be more intuitive or it's like a learned thing.
I think you're more connected.
Well, I'm thinking about like as a young woman growing up and like going out and all this stuff, you have to be aware of your surroundings and you meet someone, you get a vibe and you have to trust that vibe. And we're taught that, I think, at least by our mothers and by, trust. If you feel, this guy feels creepy, just, cut and run. So I think at least in that regard, I think my intuition is good. Job choices, not so much.
But I think that falls in line with what Krystal is saying is that you've developed it, right? You've had a chance to develop that. For someone like me who hasn't had that thought process my entire life, I think it's difficult for me because I don't necessarily think I live in the moment. So I might have a passing thought, like there's a cop out here, but it doesn't hit me like it's an intuitive hit. It's like, oh, it's a passing thought, and oh, damn it, I went too fast, right? So, is there, other than going through every day, every second of every day, like, but super vigilant? Is there a way to someone like me who's pretty thick to start pay attention?
Well, there's things you can do to start getting better and better.
That's what I mean.
You can ask yourself, check your own vibration. Like, what is going on? Am I in a bad mood? Did I just have a fight with someone or did I not get sleep last night? Why am I cranky? What's going on? You're not going to get your intuitive hits clearly if you're off, right? If you're hungry, if you're angry, if you're cranky, none of that's going to happen. If you know that you have a big decision to make, you have to be in tune. So you have to have that. I tell people you have to drink plenty of water. Focusing on a computer. Focusing on a computer for just 15 minutes can make you very dehydrated. I mean, there's some studies on this that just focusing on my computer and doing my work and I'm dehydrated and the brain uses the most, right? So we need to hydrate our brain if we want our intuitive hits to come in. So being hydrated, eating clear foods and not junk food and not garbage and not processed and things that are going to give you that. Again, energy is very subtle. You almost miss it every time. So start paying attention to the very subtle things. Was that something? Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but I'm starting to pay attention, right?
Okay. All right.
And just keeping yourself clear, keeping your vibration clear, shifting your breathing, exhaling longer than you inhale will always help. It takes you out of fight or flight mode.
Oh,
yeah. If you can do it 3 times, you're pushing against that vagus nerve in your body that tells your body you're safe and you're calm. Even if the house is on fire, right? If you exhale longer than you inhale, it will tell your body you're safe. Your body will naturally do it when you're stressed out and you're fighting or you're frustrated at something, you'll just sigh, right? Your body's like, oh, reset. This person's going crazy. Reset. Right?
I'm constantly sighing.
And now you can take control of that. Now I'm just like, oh yeah, deep breath in, and I'm going to really push that exhale. Do it 3 times, after this call. See how you feel tonight. See if it starts to reset you.
Yeah, and I like that, having more water and really, thinking about what you eat, because it is hard when, you're rushing around and then you're eating crap and then you're feeling bad about that. And then you're getting anxious about that. Then you're not sleeping and then you're anxious about not sleeping. It's like, it becomes a vicious cycle. So how can you listen to your body?
Yeah. Yes. Tuning in and waiting for the whispers, mainly keeping your body busy. Like I say, I tell people, ask your question and leave it alone. Stop pushing that elevator button. Walk away for 20 minutes, 30 minutes a day if you have to, and then come back to it. You're not allowed to repeat the question. You have to let it go and go make that soup and go fold clothes.
But you have to actually ask it, right? Not just thinking.
Ask it. You can do it internally because the universe knows your desires.
But not like it is a passing glance question. Like ask. It's like you got to actually make a point of asking the question.
I wonder. It's
and
like
releasing. Yeah.
Yes.
What if like weeks go by and you don't get a psychic hit or intuitive hit, and you're like, I can't ask the question again. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Right?
Usually that doesn't happen. You have some sort of inclination, and this is where you have to pay attention to the subtle hits, because sometimes it's an answer you don't want to hear. You might get a no of something that you really want.
That's a
and
great
go,
point.
oh, that was a no. Now I got to sit with myself. Now I got to go back to that truth barometer. Okay, I got a no on this. So how does this feel? And your brain will want to check out again. So always come back to, okay, yeah, what's my truth? My name is blank. My name is blank, right? For my truth. That's how it feels. Now I've got this hit. Is it true that I should not do this, or I should, whatever it feels like? And if your body goes still and calm, like there is no pressure in your body, that's your answer. And you just have to go with it.
Wow. See, maybe that's why my name didn't really work. Because I've never liked my name, and now it's pretty much a bad word. So I don't feel like my name.
Right.
So
we got to pick a different question.
That's truth. Yeah. So let's say, and I don't know really about you could say I have 2 kids, and that would be your truth, or if that's your truth, right? Or I live in Manhattan, or I live whatever. There's a truth, and then give yourself a false, and you'll still have the same results.
Okay. I'm the king of the world.
False.
I feel very calm, actually.
Maybe his is reverse.
Dang. It's like me.
I like her.
Yeah, we did start with the opposite day, right? Before we started recording.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's funny.
all right. Why do you think people have such a hard time trusting their intuition?
I think it's twofold. I think it's generational, that we've been taught to believe, to make the right choices, to do the thing. And everyone wants what's right for us. Your parents want you to make the right choices. And so then we do, and we fumble, but we're meant to live our own life. We're in our own body. We're in our own soul. So we're meant to fumble and fall on our face. Number 1, I think it's generational. Number 2, I think we've ignored it. When I teach intuition classes, I say about 5 or 6 years old, we start to tune it out. We get into the societal norm of going to school and the teacher saying, hey, little Johnny, you're so good at math, right? You're so good. Look how good you are. And you're little Johnny, and you're playing with your truck and you're coloring, and that's what you love to do. They're telling you something, but your intuition's like, I love to color and I love the trucks. But pretty soon, now you take your report card home and your parents are saying, little Johnny, you're so good at math. Look how good you are. And they start telling you what you are and what you're not. So you start tuning out what you believe. Right. Usually about 18 to 20, we go, I don't know, am I going to college? Am I not? Am I getting a job? You're starting to check back in, right? And then usually I see clients again by 25 that's like, I don't know anything. I got married. I got divorced. I thought it was right. I have no idea. We start to tune it back in because we've forgotten. It's other people's programmings around us to fit in the norm. I mean, it's everywhere. It's not just your parents did this to you, right? They don't know any better. They had that done to them.
Right. Yeah. We just need to change the world is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty much.
100%. We got to change the world.
And just allow our little ones, and when they feel inspired and they see, their play friends, invisible play friends, and they feel just so creative and they're just so in love with life, that's where we need to keep them and support them. And what else do you see? What else do you want? And they would never shut off their intuition. It would just keep growing and growing and better our world.
All right. Oh, well, speaking of intuition, I have an intuition hit. I think I get the feeling that you wrote a bestseller that released in July, didn't you?
It's like you're psychic.
Look at that. I'm just, I'm
Amazing.
feeling very still. I'm very, very calm. So I know it's, tell us about your book. I'm really
I
excited to
did.
hear about
Yeah,
it.
it's called Trusting Your Intuition and Listening to the Spirit Within. And it's really just kind of so you can fine tune all the things we've went over today, giving examples, giving different opportunities, and kind of just learning to trust that flow. It feels awkward at first if you haven't practiced it because it's so subtle. We want to ignore it. We want to forget it, but it keeps pushing and pushing. And if something's not right for you, it's going to push you right out the door to say, no, this is right for you. Get going. you
Right,
know?
right. But you have to, it starts with a whisper and ends with a 2x4 to the head. We say it all the time on the show, right?
Yeah.
You just eventually got to listen to it no matter what. So,
Absolutely.
so where can someone get the book if they want?
They can get it on Amazon. They can order it on my website and I can ship it to them. blossomingmedium.com is my website. I offer a bunch of different classes, usually on Zoom, so people can get a recording afterwards. I think I have an upcoming class on teaching you how to connect to your spirit guides and angels coming up. So there's just a lot of opportunity. I also have a oracle card deck that I published when I published
Ooh.
this book. They kind of go with each other, but not. I mean, they're just fun. They're nature scenes. They got the little sayings on there. Like I was saying, intuition works moment to moment. Just little cards and reminders that we can do this ourselves. We can have this muscle back, even if the world is saying no. And it's decisions that the family is saying, this isn't going to fit. That's not going to work. But you are so calm inside that you are just that eye in the middle of the storm. That's your intuitive hit. That's so strong going, I know this is right for me. I don't care what everyone else thinks. And usually you'll act on that and you'll see later on that that was right for you.
Got it. No. All right. So we're going to add a direct link in our show notes to your website. If you didn't happen to have a pen when she mentioned it really quickly, you all you need to do is go to skepticmetaphysician.com, go to her episode page. You will find that link directly laid in there. So it's easy for you to connect with her. I'm really curious about your book. So you've got at least one sale out of this interview. So it's been really great talking to you. You have opened up my eyes to a lot of things that I just took for granted. So thank you for taking the time and teaching me how to.
And the tips. I love when you give us actual tips and,
Yes.
and make it just seem. She has a very practical way of explaining it,
Which is
I
perfect
really
for
like
our
that.
audience, right? It's, we are the Skeptic Metaphysicians, right? This is practical tips to move it forward. And the best thing about it is that it wasn't all huge woo. Though it is rooted in woo, the intuition. But it was very pragmatic. So thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us. This is wonderful.
Thank you for having me.
And a huge thank you to you. We'd love for you to contribute by sending us a voicemail or an email from our website, or leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or any other podcasting platform that supports them. Karen and I love hearing from those that are moved to message us. It truly does fuel our passion. You are the reason we do this show, and knowing what you like and don't like help us craft the very best show we can so that we can help raise the vibration of the planet together. Well, that's all for now. We will see you on the next episode of The Skeptic Metaphysician. Until then, take care.